All right, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all the praise, all the honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Harakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and our elders that rule well at Great Millstone. And salutations to all you sincere Akim, preaching this word in all truth and sincerity. So yeah, I'm back at it with a quick one. And, I was really inspired by something I had seen today. All right, and, I can't call to my recollection or my thoughts what it was, but I was inspired to do this lesson. Okay, all right, it's coming back to me, but, brothers going into, and me, myself, of course, other brothers going into, multiple topics, we're at the end of this thing, and, we really got to zero in on our calling. Okay, giving diligence to make our calling and election sure. Now, this ministry, okay, this faith that we have received by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai gave us this, called us out of the world, man. Now, what you're looking at right here is the 12 tribes of Israel chart. Now, I use the, I kind of, how do I say it? I edited this image based off, the 12 tribes chart that we had before, that we used before. How it had the Star of Remphan at the top. And then, of course, GMS in red lettering at the bottom left. Now, I removed the Star of Remphan, edited it to blend in with the mountains in the back, and also the GMS at the bottom left of the poster of the chart. I blended that in as well, only because, although we are affiliates of Great Millstone, I didn't feel like it should be on there, me not being actually in, a Great Millstone camp. But nevertheless, we are preaching the same doctrine. We believe the same thing. Okay, those are our elders and apostles. All right, and so I just printed this chart out. But this is what we believe. Okay, these are the people that we're prophesying to. This is who the hopeful elect are, the 1/3. All right, now you're going to have Israelite foreigners. Okay, but to the left of this image are the true names that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai called us by our respective tribes. And to the right is an indicator based on the bywords that this devil placed upon us when he conquered us. All right. But yeah, I was truly inspired because not everybody can receive this. And you're receiving it on the basis that we have it. All right. You got faith, okay, to where you understand and you're able to recite and break down these scriptures. Well, you got to be out there on the highways and byways proclaiming, declaring what you know. And this is Isaiah 43:1. But now, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that created thee. O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel. Fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. We belong to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. He created us to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Okay, and that's what we are to declare to our people, to the world, that we're the Israelites, God's chosen people. And the reason why you nations are ruling and are above us, starting with the self-proclaimed white man who is Esau, Edom, the devil, because we transgressed Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai's laws, statutes, commandments. Okay, so us being returned, we're seeking the Lord 10 times more. We don't just read the scriptures and keep it to ourselves. Okay, we are commanded to go out there and feed the flock, feed the lambs, to teach what we were taught. Freely you received, freely give. Okay, it says, when thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. For I am Yahweh, thy God, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for thee. Since thou wast precious in my sight, thou hast been honorable, and I have loved thee. Therefore will I give men for thee, and people for thy life. Fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east, and gather thee from the west. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far, and my daughters from the ends of the earth. So Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, okay, is gathering the elect, the 1/3 of his people. Okay, you Israelite women, men, children of the hopeful elect, the 1/3. And terrible times are coming. We are living in terrible times. And the dangers and evils and terribleness of the times we're in is going to increase. But Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai says not to fear. Ultimately, what's going to come is martial law. Okay, which is the end of Jacob's trouble. Okay, you could acquaint those waters, those waves, those rivers that shall not overflow us. These troops, man, these soldiers that they're going to place here, okay, to coerce our people into taking the mark of the beast and to attempt to eradicate, exterminate those that deny Esau, Edom, and his new world order. Okay, and then the fire being the nukes. But Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai says not to be afraid of that. He's going to allow us to pass through that fire, walk through that fire. And it's a trip because they're going to release Daniel and the Fiery Furnace movie. Okay, which is about when Daniel, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego were in Babylon, and because they denounced, to worship, okay, in those days, all right, that they were thrown in a furnace, okay, to be burnt alive. And because they had faith in the Lord and did not bow the knee, okay, to idols, to men, the Lord delivered them from that, man. The Lord is going to deliver us from the same. Okay, from martial law, from Jacob's trouble, from the mark of the beast. Okay, which is a microchip. From famine, wars. okay, from nukes. All right. It says even everyone that is called by my name, for I created him for my glory. I have formed him. Yeah, I have made him. Bring forth the blind people that have eyes, and the deaf that have ears. And that's talking about us. Okay, us that believe, us that are able to see and believe, us that are able to hear. Because everybody has ears, everybody has eyes, but they can't comprehend, okay, this gospel. It's talking about those that are able to comprehend the gospel. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna jump to the point because I don't want to make this too long. All right. Let's see. All right. This is Isaiah 43 and 21. This people have I formed for myself. They shall show forth my praise. But thou hast not called upon me, O Jacob, but thou hast been weary of me, O Israel. Let's see. This is verse 25. I, even I, am he that blotteth out thy transgressions for mine own sake, and will not remember thy sins. So ultimately, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to deliver us. He's not going to charge us, okay, for our sins. This is Jeremiah chapter 1 in verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. So Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, before he even placed us in our mother's womb, okay, before any members of our body were formed, received flesh, our spirits, okay, he created us, ordained us to be prophets, man, to preach unto the nations. And amongst these nations, find the elect, okay, of Israel, to preach the word unto the elect. All right. This is 1 Corinthians 14 and 29. Let the prophets speak 2 or 3, and let the other judge. So, we're all in this together. And you're going to have brothers speak. Okay, it says, and let one judge. Right? Because even when we're out there on the highways and byways, you might not be a good speaker, but you might, or you will, Salakia, understand the scriptures, get precepts. Okay, your job or your lot might be to be a reader and, a bringer of precepts. It says, and let the other judge. So there's one man, or there will be a man within a particular group that speaks better. But at the end of the day, we're all required to speak, okay, to judge, to prophesy. All right. It says, if anything be revealed to another, that sitteth by, let the first hold his peace. For you may all prophesy one by one, that all may learn, and all may be comforted. And the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. All right, so you're not going to be a prophet now if you were not a prophet then. And when you read the scriptures, all the books that are named after a certain prophet, or all the books that were written by a certain prophet, those are, high level men. Okay. But you have prophets that were not ever mentioned. Okay. That were speaking in those times against those countries, against kingdoms, against, Israel, against these other nations of evil. And it doesn't mention all the prophets' names. All right. There's lesser prophets and greater prophets. Shoot, for an example, Obadiah, he only had one chapter. And it's a mighty chapter. But still, he only had one chapter. Okay? And once again, you had other prophets that are not even mentioned. All right, so going back to that in Jeremiah. All right. Jeremiah 1:5 says, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. So this is our purpose, man. Okay, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai created us to prophesy, to be in his spirit. Okay, to preach his words, to speak his words. Everything else going on in your life does not fucking matter, man. Okay, everything else that's going on in your life, okay, should be on the back burner before the Lord, man. Okay, that's what I mean. Okay. It really isn't to be compared, all right, versus the ministry, man. Okay, there's no contest, man. All right, this is what we were created for. And there's things you do in this life not being in the spirit, and it brings demons on you, brings, doubt upon you, brings, judgment, not to the point of your death, but it makes your life a living hell. Because really, we were placed on this earth, us that have the word to prophesy. Okay? Now, you got brothers that are out there that got, families and jobs and certain inheritances and things they got to mend to and take care of. Okay? But a lot of time, these things become burdens, man. A lot of times you got to forsake, so-called quality time, family time. You got to forsake these things, man, in order to please Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. That's really the basis of this lesson is, we were given this spirit to prophesy, man. The Lord created us, formed us, okay, in this world to be prophets, man. It says before he formed us, before we were received a body, where our spirit entered a body, we are ordained, we are created to prophesy, man. This comes first. This is really your only hope, serving Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai in truth and sincerity. And like we read before in Isaiah, said he's going to deliver us, man. Okay? This world is dying. This world's on its way out. People of the world are holding on to the world. The reason why you might have emotions and feeling, certain ways because of this world, okay, attachments, those are demons, man. That's Satan just trying to hinder you, trying to sift you. You got to cut that shit off. Okay? That way this nigga can't use these things against you, man. You know? Because we're not of this world, man. Okay? And you have to conduct yourself, okay, as the men of the Lord. You got to put on the spirit. Keep the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai on you, okay, to the best of your ability, man. You got to fight. All right? So with that, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Arakai Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and our elders that rule well at Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect.